This is just how her brain works. She can't help it. She hits me because she has autism. It's easy to see autism and a tantrum and be like, these two things are each other. Parents unknowingly use tantrums and autism interchangeably when in fact they're two separate things. Tantrums aren't autism, they're learned behaviors. How do we untangle these two pieces? Today, we're going to break down the difference between autism and tantrums from a behavioral perspective. Then we'll talk about a new way to understand behavior so that parents can understand their child and their behaviors better. Let's talk about it. If you don't know me, my name is Celeste. I'm a BCBA who educates and empowers parents on how to teach their autistic baby new, meaningful, everyday skills. Okay, so let's start by defining autism. Autism is a neurological condition where our kids learn, communicate, and interact differently than the general, typical pool of kids. Aggression is not a symptom. Tantrum is a physical behavior, and it really varies. Maybe your child's tantrum looks like crying, falling to the floor, hitting, and someone else's tantrum might look like throwing things and balling up their fists. We're going to put on our behavioral lens and look at that same tantrum and kind of dissect it a little bit, okay? I want you to ask yourself, what happened before the behavior? And what happened after the behavior? Here's an example. A mom says, oh, my daughter breaks her tablet. We're on the 4th one. She really goes from 0 to 100. I don't know how to stop the breaking of the tablet. So now again, put on your behavioral lens. Let's dissect and identify what happens before the behavior and what happens after the behavior, okay? So in this example, we observe a little more and the little girl's playing on her tablet and all of a sudden the tablet dies, okay? She throws the tablet across the room, okay? And then the mom walks over and she takes it away to charge it and then brings it out later, okay? So before the behavior, the tablet died. After the behavior, it was much after, it was later presented fully charged. We can hypothesize that the little girl throwing the tablet is functional, effective, it works. It got her needs met in that moment. What's happening in her environment is shaping, strengthening, or reinforcing the throwing behavior. Let's look at another hypothetical example. So the mom says, oh, my daughter just slapped me in the face, unprovoked. Okay, no demands. She was happily playing on her tablet right next to me. I don't know what happened. Okay, so now we know better that behavior doesn't happen out of nowhere. So we're going to zoom out and ask, what happened before? And then let's say the mom says, nothing. I was just sitting next to her on my phone and she was on her tablet. Okay. Then she slapped me. And then I looked at her and I said, no, that hurts, mommy. That's mean. So let's identify what happened before. Before, mom was on her phone. Then the slap happened. And last, after the behavior, mom gave her attention, looked at her directly and said, no, that hurts, mommy. So we can hypothesize the function or the payoff of that aggression is attention, because there was no attention before the behavior. And after it happened, mom granted her attention. It worked. The little girl's needs got met in that moment. The little girl was trying to say, look at me, get off your phone. And it worked. I challenge you to look at your child's behavior differently. So what you'll identify when you start observing your child's behavior like this, before and after, what in their environment is reinforcing it. What you'll notice when you write down a few of these examples, there are trends and patterns. So you'll notice, oh, before the aggression, this typically happens. And after the aggression, this typically happens. And then And then parents, once you're aware, then you could take the next step, which is the intervention piece. What strategies can we put in place? But step one is going to be identifying, like really being a detective and adopting the perspective that behavior is environmental. To recap, we talked about how tantrums are behaviors that are reinforced by the learner's environment. Over time, when our kids get reinforced by others around them, it creates a learned pattern, a trend that repeats itself over time. So the next time you catch yourself saying, oh, tantrum, his autism, challenge yourself to say tantrum environment. If you learned something new today, what was it? Write it in the comments. I want to hear what it was. If this video was helpful, I encourage you to like and subscribe. It helps me to know you liked the video so I can continue making more content on this topic, as well as it lets the YouTube algorithm know you liked it so it can hopefully reach other parents like you. From your favorite BCBA, keep showing up, keep doing the work. You got this.